Utah-based company says it has a new cutting-edge way to detect lies using your eyes. But should the results of that test be used in court?
Yeah, KSL investigator Daniella Rivera digs into the question which could land in front of Utah's Supreme Court.
They say eyes are windows to the soul. But do they tell lies? And can a test detect those lies reliably enough to be used in the justice system?
This test is a test that you're required to lie on.
On this day,
I wrote down the number 5.
I'm trying to get away with a lie in the hopes of answering an important question. Can I?
Our eyes dilate when we lie.
Todd Mickelson is the CEO of the Lehigh-based company Converis.
We measure changes that occur involuntarily in the eyes.
They own the technology called eye detect.
Next generation lie detection test.
It's based on the concept that lying makes your brain work harder, which then causes the pupils of your eyes to dilate and change. Since 2014, some police departments in Utah and across the country have used eye detect for investigations and pre-employment screenings.
They want to know if those candidates they're interviewing have had a history of physical or sexual violence.
And some states use it to monitor sex offenders on parole.
We have found that to be extremely effective.
Now, some Utah attorneys are pushing to use the results of eye detect tests as evidence in criminal court cases. Even though after decades of debate, standard polygraph results are generally not considered to be admissible. A jury is only considered eye detect results once in the U.S. in a case in New Mexico where polygraphs are allowed in court. So, will a Utah jury have that chance?
The evidence should be allowed.
Christopher Browning hopes so. He's a convicted rapist who served 24 years in prison. He's charged with rape again, accused of attacking a 72-year-old Taylorsville woman just weeks after he was released on parole. Browning scored well on an eye detect test, a 99 out of 100, when he was asked about one specific detail of the case, whether he forced the woman to shower at knife point. An expert testified the results have been found to be accurate 85% of the time. And Browning even penned a letter to the judge, writing, "This test cannot be manipulated."
Eye detection is fundamentally no different than the physiological responses of a polygraph, and those are not admitted.
Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill's office has fought against using eye detect results in Browning's case and several others.
When they're presented, we're going to object to it until we're told otherwise.
Defense attorney Ralph De La Piana hopes Gill's office is told otherwise.
We wanted to admit that evidence at the trial.
After the judge sided with prosecutors blocking the eye detect results, De La Piana asked Utah's Supreme Court to hear an appeal on the issue.
The Supreme Court needs to make a decision to say whether this is admissible or not admissible.
While they wait for an answer, I decided to test the test myself.
This test is a test that you're required to lie on.
Okay. Mickelson agreed to show us a demo.
We're going to have you write down a number between 2 and 9.
The test then asks true or false questions about each number.
6 is not the number that I picked.
Along with general knowledge questions that act as a mental palate cleanser.
The pyramids of Egypt are not located in North America.
Eye detect should be able to figure out the number I wrote down, the one I'm lying about, based on changes in my eyes.
So this is something you can't feel or control.
After several rounds, the test picked the number it believes I'm lying about.
And we think your number is 7.
Would you like me to reveal the number?
Yes. Wow.
That's shocking to me.
I wrote down 8, but 7 is the number I chose to think about and visualize during the test, trying to trick the technology. The results did pick up on a change in my eyes for number 8, ranking it as a likely second choice.
I've given more than 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
94% of the time we get the number in the first position.
Mickelson said the test criminal defendants like Browning are taking is more targeted and involves more data points than the numbers demo. And he believes eye detect results should be admissible in court when coupled with results from a polygraph, as long as both tests are given independently and reviewed by a third party.
We have 23 studies, 13 of which are peer-reviewed and published, that show that it's highly accurate.
Still, the difference between highly accurate and always accurate could have far-reaching consequences when it comes to matters of personal freedom and public safety. This is what's on the line in Utah's justice system, and why, for now, courts leave it to juries to look for lies and decide what's true.
We are tracking this appeal effort closely. We know the state's response to De La Piana's filing was due today, and if the Utah Supreme Court decides to weigh in on this issue, we'll for sure keep you updated. Mike and Deanie.
Well, you're part of the 6%.
Yeah, you can control your thoughts. Maybe not your eyes, but
One
you can
off,
control
right?
your
One
thoughts.
digit off. That's what it was?
Close.
All right. Yeah, great story. Thank you.
Thanks.